So, here we are. So call recording is on. We have a light call today. We have some people out of town, and I guess some other people just not on the call. So anyway, let's get started. There goes Amy. I thought Amy was already in, so she must have dropped back in. So anyway, let's get started. So let's start off with wins, right? Tell me some wins. Who's got wins?
So I got a win. This is Charles.
Hey, Charles. Tell us your win.
My win for the weekend or for the week is that I got.
Are you on a speakerphone?
Not me.
Oh, okay.
No.
So go ahead. I apologize. Your win is what?
I got into a multiple offer situation and won the bid. And my client actually was competing against their own brother.
Ow!
Oh, wow.
So
yeah, there's one you don't hear every day.
No, it was funny that my client told me that they were talking about it because her father had passed away and they're cleaning out his house. And they were talking about putting offers in, and they both had put offers in. The brother had only put in at list price, and we bid above list price because we've been looking and just couldn't find much else for what they're looking for. But ended up getting the deal because we wrote such a nice, clean, strong offer as well. So.
Right, and that's what it is. When you're in those situations, the good, clean offers are the ones that are going to win. I mean, it's just that simple. And, wow, that's awesome. So you got to love that. Competing against the brother. So, so that's a sibling rivalry. You definitely, that's interesting.
No, that was the best part. That she's like, oh, by the way, my brother did this, and we, he said that when he found out that we were doing that he knew he wasn't going to win because we were willing to bid over and he wasn't. So.
Right. Well, he'll learn after he loses a few. He'll start to get realistic.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have him as a client, so. I guess I got to do better with that one because it's a clear lead too. So.
Right. Amy's got a bunch of wins, don't you, Amy?
Yeah. I've got. Let's see. The piece of land is under contract. I've got a mobile home listing. I've got a cash buyer looking at that this afternoon. And then I have the listing out in West Jordan, and we're holding off showings until Wednesday because he's not ready yet.
Right. And then the mobile home buyer under contract too, with a buy on a purchase.
Yeah, and the mobile home buyer they're under contract for a purchase. The West Jordan home, he's under contract for a purchase.
So wow, you got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of activity.
Right. So sweet. How about anybody else? JC, you got a closing, right? JC. Oh, JC. We'll come back to her. She's on the call. I see her. Oh, sorry, on computer. She's on. She didn't call in, so it's weird. So her computer, for some reason, she doesn't get to speak, so she has to call in on her phone. So anybody else? How about you, Danae? Any wins besides what an awesome? So it says yes, JC. Oh, she said something, man. Where'd it go? Sorry, on computer, no speaker. Yes, closing. And me and Scott had a great conference on Saturday. Sweet. So they're new partners. So, and then, well, Danae, you had you were starting to share a birthday win with us. So you don't have to tell us how old you are because we're recording it, but you can tell us what the present is.
They totally surprised me because I thought I was babysitting grandkids while my daughter and her husband went to New York. So they cleared it on my calendar for the end of April. And then they surprised me with the gift that they paid for my round trip ticket to New York, the hotel, everything, and 2 Broadway shows. Well, a girls trip with my girls and my daughter-in-law to New York for 4 days. So what a fun gift. So sweet.
Yeah, that'll work.
And it's such a sacrifice on their part. I know they can't afford this, but for them to do this for me melted my heart.
Sweet.
Made me cry. Yeah. And my other wins, I had that Seattle buyer all last week she's this realtor up in Seattle and just was working my guts out all week, just, 16, 18-hour days because I'd show all day and then have to go find more and make appointments. And it was crazy. But we put an offer in. But get this. This is a home that was $825,000. They're down to $799 now. She wanted to put in an offer for $719. I told her this is not how it works here. The market is not like that. And they won't even consider an offer like that.
Right.
I got her up to $735.
God.
Still, $65,000 difference, and I had to go present this. I went in expecting bullets. Oh my goodness! But that seller was so gracious, and just a classy lady. But they said, do you even want us to counter this? And I showed them the comps to where, they are a little high. It should be more like $775, $780. And the seller's saying, we paid $749 for this 2 years ago. But she, but I just said, yes, please counter it. And they did counter it, which was really nice. So my buyer's supposed to give an answer by 5 p.m. tonight, but it's now $775, and she had told me if they won't negotiate, it's a $735 is our offer. Then because her husband wasn't looking at the homes with us, it was just her, and her husband said no, you should have stuck with the lower amount. Well, he hasn't been through the homes, so
right.
Help me. How can I get her to be more reasonable?
Well,
I told her it will appraise for $775. It will.
Right. So, I just had the seller counter, and the husband hasn't seen it. So then the first question that comes to my mind is, does he have to see it?
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
And they're not even. It's not even contingent on the sale of their home in Seattle. They've got the money.
Right.
They're putting 20% down.
Yeah, and so again, you got to keep working the specific language of, look, I don't need to tell you, you already know, because obviously these are people that know it all, right? They're know-it-alls.
Right.
So you have to use the language pattern. Always have to use that language pattern. Look, I don't need to tell you, you already know that blah, 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 and then you insert whatever it is you want them to know, right?
Okay.
So does that make sense?
Yes, I like that.
So, I don't need to tell you, you already know that real estate's local in nature. I don't need to tell you, you already know that, or then you could say, well, what specifically, you present the offer and then get the counter. Where did the seller counter at?
$775. So the listing's at $799. We put in at $735, and they've countered at $775. And we agreed when I left, just give us the best, lowest price you will go. And
right.
So we can end this game. And they agreed. So that is their lowest. If they don't take it, they don't get it.
Right. So then you say to the buyer, yeah, then you just got to go back to the buyer and say, well, do you want the house? Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So then, and then when they say that, so Danette, sounds, you're telling me you want the house, but your actions are saying different. So I'm confused. Help me understand.
Oh, that's a good one.
You know what I mean? So, then that way it puts the burden on them to explain themselves. Because obviously, and then, people with cash like that, they just think that, that's how they have cash like that. They do deals like that,
Mm-hmm.
They're just, it's the age-old joke, right? when the buyer says, I never pay list price for anything. Good, because we're going to bid above, So, you know what I mean? It's like, and they're like, what? So, yeah, I mean, that's just how it goes, right?
Right.
So that's all you can do is, and realtors, they just make lousy clients,
Oh, yeah, they're tough.
Yeah. I know I was a horrible client when I was representing myself. So, well, that's, so I'm glad, so obviously that covers a win and a struggle and, well, I don't know about the win. You had the birthday win, then the struggle, and then the question, right? So those are the three things we cover on this call. The wins, the struggles, and questions. So that's how I would handle that. Does anybody else have any wins they'd like to share before I do the struggle call? What are you struggling with? So, Richard, you have a closing coming up, don't you?
Yes, I'm sorry, on Friday.
Friday, sweet.
Great.
Let's get that one done, and on to the next one, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So, what would you guys say? You got any struggles you guys are working with that you'd like to talk about? Danae shared hers. She's got a tough client that's, from a different market coming in, making lowball offers, but they're in a good price range. So. The good news is, Danae, you get this thing tied up, and you make good money. So, to make $20,000, if you had to work 2 weeks, it's like, oh, you're breaking my heart,
Yeah.
So, it's funny how we seem to kind of get complacent to where that to make that kind of money, it's like, gosh, I got to work, It's like, yeah. Right? I've always said we've all done less for worse.
That's true.
We've all done worse and made less.
When she moves down here, I asked her, are you going to do real estate down here? She said, well, I'm thinking about it, but I'd need to ride on your coattails for a while. And I said, I'll help you. And I said, and I keep talking about the kind of the family atmosphere of our brokerage and how awesome our brokerage is. I said, they all have my back. I know I could call any of them. And then I talked about how you're a freaking genius. And so anyway, when she moves down here and gets her license, she wants to be in our brokerage. So
sweet. Well, that's kudos to you, and thank you very much for selling the company. I really, really appreciate that. Gosh, it's humbling to hear you, because I always say, gosh, if I'm that good to you, it's like, you just need to get out more, it's like, that's kind of my attitude. I just, I'm just a guy that shows up and goes to work every day. That's all.
No, so, you do more than that. You care.
Oh, I definitely care. I love my guys. I love you guys, right? And to me, that's the key difference between any Auburn Associates and any other brokerage is I genuinely love you guys, period. Now, there doesn't mean there aren't days that, that I just want to go back to bed. Of course I have those days. But that doesn't mean, I don't have my genuine care for you. So, anybody else have any struggles or questions? Hey, Richard, did you ever finish your postcard you were doing?
Amy's working on it for me. I sent her the information that I'd like to do.
Now we got. I'm the only one allowed to blame things on Amy. You're not allowed to blame things on Amy anymore.
Well, I'm not blaming. No blaming.
No, I'm kidding. I'm just teasing.
Okay.
So Richard's creating a postcard. So remember George. George is actually out of town. I think he comes back next week. So next Friday or Saturday, or this Friday and Saturday coming up. But George is able to compile a list of names and numbers and phone numbers of people with FHA or VA loans that are a certain age. So the age will, and they haven't refinanced too. That's the thing. So it's a real drill down list. So meaning they have low percent rate assumable loans. And so George Richard's creating a postcard. You know, we talked about it. So the message needs to be, if you get a list like this from George, your message needs to be whether you're doing a postcard, a letter, a phone call. So the first thing is, the first headline should be thinking of selling, ? Right? And then you say, little known government program that could net you 10, 20, or even up to $30,000 more than you think. For details, call. Right?
Oh, that's helpful.
Rob, if I can interject just one comment here. This was a combined effort with JC. So JC and I have joined efforts to do this together. So credit needs to be given to JC as well.
All right.
I don't know if she's on the call.
Yeah, she's on the call. She didn't have any speakers or something. I forget. I don't know if she dialed in. Somebody dialed in, but on the phone, so I don't know who that is. But she's on the call. So it's being recorded.
Yeah, I'm excited about the mailing and about the prospect of getting this. I mean, there's like 85 or 90 names. So if we get one or two, you know, we'll just keep building on it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and remember, what's the purpose of the phone?
Making contact.
Well, no, set an appointment.
Much as possible.
Okay. Set an appointment, yes.
Period. You're not going to handle all their questions. So they come up with great questions, and you say, and so when in doubt, when you're on the phone, when in doubt, so, and somebody says questions, somebody throws something at you, even if they throw an objection at you, you can say something like, you know, well, you can use the best line ever if you're ever in doubt and you don't know what to say, you just go, well, that's exactly why we need to get together. Because then that throws them way off their game, and they're like, huh? What just happened to me? You know, I went from asking a question to set an appointment. Or if they make a statement, you know, like, well, you know, we were thinking about going with another agent. Well, that's exactly why we need to get together. So, because they're used to other people coming up with, you know, I'm the best, you know, because every agent's the best at something, right? I mean, excuse me, I'm the best agent on Tuesday mornings between 8 and 8:15. You know what I mean? You got agents got some kind of best that they're best at. But if you get that list, so remember the message, right? Thinking of selling, that's the question, right? So remember we were in Kevin Smollen's class, and he was saying that, you know, your marketing has to solve a problem. Like, so if you had a rambler, you would say, tired of stairs, right? So that way, you know, and instead of saying, you know, rambler, you want to pose the question, you know, tired of stairs. So thinking of selling, ? Little known government program net you 10, 20, or up to 30,000 more than you think. And so, and then what you do is you convert them over to George, and you just say, yeah, I'll have you talk to my our government loan or government program expert. Don't say loan. And then George will sit them down and talk them through all the numbers and show them. Now, here's the thing. Do we care if they sell their house on an assumption?
No.
Absolutely not, right? I could care less if they sell their house on an assumption. And the odds are great that they're not going to. Because the buyer has to, you know, I mean, they're tough on the buyer because their cash, you know, they require a lot of cash. Doesn't mean it can't happen. But so there are people out there that, but now what a great ad run. Right? What if you started running the ad, say on KSL, right? And then do a headline. I mean, you know, your in your comments, you know, your comments are, what do you call it? You know, assume this loan type of thing. You know, so excuse me, pardon me.
Rob, let me throw out one thought here quick.
Okay.
Kevin last week had and if you subscribe to his YouTube channel as I do, he had top 12 Facebook posts that really, capture attention. And so I would encourage everyone to go to the YouTube channel and go through the 12 posts that he suggested, and they range from community events, personal pictures, posting a picture of your closing, offering services. Like we have the listing of vendors, offer those services available to potential homeowners or sellers, and a CMA post. And it's not necessarily an ad on Facebook as it is post.
Right.
So there's some great information there if anybody's looking for ideas for posts on Facebook. Kevin's given you 12 different examples that'll work well.
Yep. Yeah, I did see that, but I didn't listen to the whole video. So anyway, so that's good stuff. But I think that what an opportunity. So let's say you pick up one of these assumable listings, right? Let's say you pick up one of these assumable listings. What a great ad runner, right?
Absolutely.
And put in the agent. I mean, not in the agent remarks, in the public remarks. Assume this loan. Assume our 3.5% interest rate loan, and that's it. No comments, right? So you'll get calls. I would get a Steinreiter. Assume this 3.5% interest rate loan, right? I'd have it on the sign. I'd be all over KSL and Craigslist, right? So you'll get calls on that. Most people here, everybody run their Facebook KSL ads, right? But I, never underestimate Craigslist, because a lot of people don't run ads on Craigslist. Therefore, you may get one. Does that make sense?
One other comment I have is, anybody has any thoughts on the vacant property I have on 90th South? I do have it on LoopNet, and it's gotten 900 views since November.
Right.
Well, no, on LoopNet.
Okay.
But we're not getting any phone calls. So if anybody has any input or thoughts, how we can create.
If it hasn't, well, here's the thing, Richard. If you haven't, if vacant land, land hasn't sold, we're in a great shortage of housing in the history of, Utah real estate, right?
Right.
And if it hasn't sold, it's the price, period.
Okay.
I mean, it's that simple. If you got it on the MLS and LoopNet, which are the two most popular, real estate sites out there, right? One is Utah, one is the most popular Utah, and one is the most popular. What do you call it? Commercial one, other commercial, right?
Right.
So what that mean, so this, and if you're not getting offers, then that means you're overpriced. It is just that simple.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep. So.
Some of the reasons it might be overpriced, Richard, is the cost that it would be to build, the impact fees that the city is charging and doing,
right,
prohibit people from paying what you're feeling the value might be on that property as well.
Right. There's variables that affect the price. Exactly right. So the conversation is, what's the highest and best use? And then what is it going to cost to do that, right? So the way land works is you work your way backwards, right?
Right.
You start off with, it's like a flip, right? What can I sell this house for in the end? So what can I build there? What's the highest and best use? So,
okay.
And then you just have to have the conversation with the seller. Say, look, we've had this much action, right? and online, but we're being eliminated at the computer because we're not getting any offers. Because the thing is, you're not going to get showing appointments, right? They're going to drive by and stand there.
Right.
So you're not going to get showing appointments. So we have that. So we're lacking that to kind of say, we don't know how many showings we have because it's not that type of property. But you can, what do you call it? But you can go by the stats you have. So you got MLS stats and you got LoopNet stats, right?
Right. Yeah.
So then you say, look, so Mr. Mrs. Seller, based on the statistics we're getting, because remember, there's only 3 things that we can control, right? And what are they? Price, condition, and exposure, right? So as you could tell, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, that based on the number of views we've had on LoopNet and UtahRealEstate.com, obviously exposure is not an issue. And so it's a vacant land. I mean, there's really nothing you can do to improve it. I mean, unless they do, unless they want to make entitlements, I mean, divide it or run sewers, that kind of stuff. So unless you plan on adding features and benefits, and they're like, well, no, well, then price is really the only topic we need to be talking about.
Well, it's had 6,000 views, according to the MLS.
But yeah, nobody's made an offer.
Right.
So
is towards price. I would agree with Rob on that you're getting eliminated at the computer screen.
Right.
And,
period.
Or even they're driving out to it, walking around.
There's no way of knowing that.
Yeah. But it's
Okay.
all basically price.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Anybody else got any struggles or wins? No? Any questions to deal with? Well, if we don't, then I'm going to go ahead and end the call. I'll post a recording on our, what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? Our Facebook group. So I'll add it to our link. To our playlist, and then when you go to the Facebook group, it's pinned to the top. It'll be the top post. So unless anybody's got something, I'm going to go ahead and end the call.
Thanks, Rob. Have a good day.
See you guys.
Thanks, Rob.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.